What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is down 2.4%, 949 the low, 1003 the high. So today you did have the Fed interest rate decision, and it came in line with expectations. So no cut or anything like that. So that's kind of a good thing as well. Powell, for the most part, kind of stated exactly what everyone was already anticipating. So higher for longer, economy is doing relatively good, and things like that, and that they'll continue to watch the data. A couple of things he did mention off script. So he did state one thing that was relatively bullish, in that in his opinion he doesn't see the chances of a recession being greater than 25% right now. So again, I think that's a relatively good thing. I did see some stuff floating around on social media saying that it's roughly around like 30 to 40% right now. So again, that's kind of bullish. Some bearish things that did come out though. So policymakers anticipate 2 rate cuts in 2025. Growth was cut from 1.9 to 1.7%. So that's for 2025, estimated of course. And then for inflation, it is estimated to be a little bit higher. So it went from 2.5 to 2.7. So this type of stuff right here wasn't all that bullish. But despite that though, the market seemed to have really saw what Powell put out there as optimistic, because it caused SoundHound and much of the greater market to really move higher. So I see that as pretty good stuff. So what's your 2 cents on Powell? Was there anything that was a concern to you? One thing to take note of though, if you do look at a lot of the true data behind the scenes, so I think overall today there was just a lot of optimism. So algorithmic trading was really pushing a lot of stocks higher. SoundHound right now has 16.8 million, 44.2 is the average, but you're not really seeing big money get behind today. So as you can kind of see, this is it for transactions on the secondary market. So big money for the most part is selling, with the exception of these two right here. So big money wasn't really kind of FOMOing in, if that kind of makes sense. But SoundHound as well did put out news this morning. So SoundHound AI delivers faster, smarter voice assistants at scale with Nvidia AI Enterprise. So yeah, this is pretty good stuff. Hopefully this is more of a precursor for more and more partnerships, such as, let's say, Tesla, Rivian, because I do cite Lucid up here. But yeah, maybe this is something that they did state as well, or they alluded to during the last fireside chat, how they're going to be doing some updates, making it smaller, more accessible to kind of the masses. That's just my way of kind of wording it. But yeah, what's your general thoughts on this in the comments below? Do you think that this is a good reason to go out and buy SoundHound right now, or not? In my opinion, I think it's a good FYI. It does reconfirm exactly why we are investing in SoundHound, but it's not really a good reason to kind of stop what you're doing and buy. But then again, I could be wrong. But aside from that though, looking at shorts are returning 265,000 shares right now. 32.7% of the free flow is being shorted. Works out to be 117.2 million shares overall being shorted. Cost per average 4.01%. Utilization is 86.43. So pretty good stuff. The fact that now this is the second consecutive day for shorts to return. And SoundHound definitely is building some pretty good momentum on a technical standpoint, so I'll go over that in a second. But as far as the options, you are seeing relatively low volume today, matching with the common stock. So 2.07 million in calls, 1.34 in puts. 47% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature. So pretty good stuff, but as I mentioned, relatively low. So 3.4 million in total premiums, 13 the day prior, 4.7 the day prior. So not really getting the volume that I would have liked to have saw, but of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 11. So a nice recovery. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 850. And I think a lot of that is stemming from the negativity that came out from Powell. So again, it's kind of mixed. Some people chose to see the optimistic side of it, or at least the algorithmic trading is, rather than the negatives. But when it comes down to it, with it at $9.79, trading between this pivot and this S1, so 887 is going to be a strong support, and then 1197 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. This is the 1-day chart as well, so very strong support and resistance points. Moving over to the 4-hour, just so you kind of can see. So it is trading between the R1 and the pivot in this regard. So $9.63 is going to be a strong support. Flip side, 1046. So I think SoundHound is ready to finally move higher. No new analyst ratings, nothing along those lines. Just if you look up a lot of the news, it is a overwhelming amount of lawsuits. So lawsuit, 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 blah, blah, blah. And as I've stated, I know a lot of bears like to say this is going to bankrupt SoundHound. I think those individuals just don't really know this, and they're just here to spread a lot of fear. Because 9 times out of 10, if you actually do look at a lot of these, it's just ambulance chasers. They are looking to build a class action to get a lot of clients, and then they will try to sue, and for whatever they want to kind of spin it as. So in my opinion, I don't think SoundHound has lied on anything on previous earnings. They've been very transparent. They did everything by the books. Just some people aren't satisfied with the stock performance, and I think a lot of this is stemming from when Nvidia did, or at least the news came out about Nvidia selling out. So people are just kind of PO'd about that. But quickly going over here though on the actual chart itself, so it is currently looks like below the ALMA of $9.81, still above the 1 or 200-day moving average, and that's sitting at 844. So the only negative side of SoundHound's technicals right now is the stochastic RSI. It is rather overbought. So potentially with big money not really getting behind it today, I can definitely see a lot of volatility, at least in the foreseeable future. As far as data points for the rest of the week, you don't really have all that much. So tomorrow you have existing home sales, the same stuff. So obviously jobless claims and whatever, but Friday you have a Fed speech as well. So I think in reality, there is a lot of good opportunity for SoundHound to really move higher from here. So yeah, let me know your kind of 2 cents on SoundHound. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What's your overall thoughts on, for instance, this news that did come out? Do you think that this is like drop what you're doing type of buy kind of stuff? And what's, for those of you that did pay attention to Powell's speech, was there anything that stood out to you that I didn't really kind of summarize or highlight that you think is worthwhile to bring up? So if so, drop that in the description below. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching. Don't forget to pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.